Hi, welcome to How to Repair. This video is on a tumble dryer that is not turning. There are only really three faults that can occur when a tumble dryer is not turning. One is you either have the motor fail completely or the plaque fail completely. Number two is the capacitor on the motor may have failed and you're hearing a humming noise. You can see this in our other video on Hoover and Candy tumble dryers that are not turning with a humming noise. And number three is the motor may be running but the actual drum is not turning. In this case you want to take the lid off and inspect to make sure the belt is on the machine, because there is a possibility the belt is snapped. In this video I will show you how to strip down the machine and change the belt. We're going to be working on a machine which has a good belt, but a few customers have asked for a video on how to change the belt, so I thought I'd make this for you. Right, to change the belt on this machine, the first thing you need to do is unplug the appliance from the electricity supply, and we'll take the front of the machine off, and then I'll show you how the belt comes off and we'll put a new belt on. Right, undo the three screws at the back, take the lid off. Lid lifts up, pulls away. The wood sometimes can swell. Okay, so it might be tricky to get the lid off. Right, we'll tilt the machine backwards because there are, on both models, the condenser dryer and the normal dryer, there's two or three screws, and you will have to undo the legs to get at the outside screws on the normal vented tumble dryer. So we'll just undo these three screws. Now we'll rest the machine back down. Now inside the door we have four screws, but before we touch them we're going to take the facial panel off. Straightforward, two screws on the top. Once you've done that, the panel comes forward and lifts. Now we won't disconnect the wiring on this one because there's plenty of room, and this gives us access to the two screws at the top, but we won't undo them until we've taken all the front off. Right, torque 20 to take the door off on this model. Sometimes they're Phillips screws. I'd always support the door when undoing the screw, as this door has already got a crack in the glass which needs replacing. And then once you've undone the last screw, just lift the door and it comes away. Right, next we'll take out the filter, peel off the seal, and now we'll undo the four screws that hold the plastic framework and the drum support to the front panel. Make sure you always write down, or not write down, but always mark where the screws came from, because they are different threads to go into plastic than into the metal. Now all this is undone, we'll undo the two at the top, and then we have to disconnect the wiring from the door lock. Panel comes away, and then we've got two wires which go onto the door lock, and that's your door lock. It's just a straightforward micro switch attached to the locking mechanism, so it's just the wires can go on either way around. Right, here we have the NTC sensor, and we also have a normal thermostat below, and there's also two thermostats on the tumble dryer at the rear as well. So before I undo these bolts all the way around to take the front off, it's well worth pointing out, it is well worth getting the vacuum cleaner out and cleaning all this fluff away. It will make the machine operate much better. It will stop overheating problems with regards to the thermostats and NTC sensors, and it will make the machine much more efficient. Right, there's 4 7mm bolts all the way around. Now on the normal vented tumble dryer, you should be aware that there's one screw hidden underneath that you need to remove the plastic tray. So we'll just tilt this back. And underneath here is one additional screw that you need to undo before removing the plastic housing. This will give you access to the tube system. Then there are 2 screws just underneath the cowling here. If you've got any doubts whatsoever before removing the wiring, make sure you take a picture. Now we've got everything removed, just unclip the wiring. Now these come out by lifting. Now if the belt is still on the machine, you've got to actually lift the plastic up on both sides. This comes towards you then. And you're able to take the pressure off the drum. Tilts back and away. Now you can actually see how much fluff has built up on this machine, so we're going to go through it very well with a Hoover in a second, and we can remove the whole vent tube. Now this gives us clear access to the motor underneath. The belt simply goes on the front here, but I'll show you the pulley system at the bottom before fitting the new belt. Right, the belt comes round the drum, over this pulley wheel, round the shaft, back up over this pulley wheel, and whichever way the drum is turning, the tension is taken up with these 2 pulley wheels. So to take the belt off, just pull the one pulley wheel down, slip the belt off the other pulley wheel, and then the belt can come away and the belt can come off the machine completely. If you have your full model number, you'll be able to identify the belt very easily, but if you look on the belt, there'll actually be a number. This belt is a PH930 and it doesn't tell me how many ribs. A lot of belts say how many ribs are actually on there. And now we need to clean out the whole of this in here first. Right, the first thing we're going to do is fit the belt on. This belt is actually in very good condition, so we'll just slip this belt back on, take it around the drum and take it up to the original mark which you will see on the drum. Put it over the pulley wheel, ease one pulley wheel back and put it round the motor shaft. Then ease the other pulley wheel up and work it backwards. So it sits nicely between the 2 pulley wheels. Do a few rotations and make sure it lines up on the drum correctly. Once you've cleaned everything, you can start reassembling. So we'll put the front tube on, line up the second part. We've got to lean the machine backwards to put the screw in. Now we can put the front assembly on. Now all we need to do is assemble the front unit. It's well worth inspecting these pulley wheels, make sure there's no play in them, and also on the jockey wheels. This then slots in to the two top ones, and you have to lift it up. Sorry, the wiring should go over. Then slot these two in. And you need to lift upwards. And there you go. And then it just drops down into place on each side. That one's not down enough at the moment. And that's because of the housing. And then you should get good alignment. There we go, everything's lined up. And I'm actually going to thread the wire through here and then across onto the NTC sensor, and then the two thermostatic wires go straight back on. Ready for the door lock, but first we need to put the 4 bolts in. Now we're ready to connect the front panel up. Again, 2 wires for the door lock. And we'll put the 2 top screws in first. Now we'll loosely flit the 4 screws. I'm not going to nip them up yet until I got the seal on. Bring the control panel back down. Now we'll put the seal on. I always put the crease on my left hand side. Once I've got the seal on, I'm happy to nip up the chassis. Now we'll put the 3 screws on the bottom. Slide the door in. Right, now that we've got the machine connected back to the electricity, it's a good idea to make sure the belt is going round on the centre of the drum correctly. So we'll just turn it to the minimum setting, Press start, and there we go. We supply all belts at the website, so just use the search with your model number, and if you can't find it, please use the contact us page and we'll be glad to help. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, as that's what keeps us going and able to make these free videos for you. And if we really helped you, remember you can always donate to the website by buying us a beer. We have hundreds of other tutorials at the website. Thanks very much indeed for watching.